BBC Sounds. Music, radio, podcast.
Hello, I'm Tony Bellew and I am angry. As I can't take it out on people in the ring anymore, I'm going toe-to-toe with some special guests to find out what makes them angry and, more importantly, how they deal with it.
People think that, you've got a boss life. You get to do what you love. You don't see the dark side of things.
We're back for season 3, and this time I'll be chatting to the likes of Michael B. Jordan, Paddy Pimblett, Duncan Ferguson and Bugsy Malone.
I didn't feel I should have been in prison. I wish the referee had given me a red card at the time, because we wouldn't be talking about it just now.
Tony Bellew is angry. Listen on BBC Sounds.
BBC Sounds.
Hello everybody, there are two Murrays on air right now. One is a cantankerous, irritable, burly, likeable Celt, and the other is a tennis player. I'm Colin Murray, this is Fighting Talk. And we will keep you updated on the tennis. In fact, there's only 4 people that aren't allowed to watch the tennis, and that's the 4 fighting talkers in front of me now, because they'll be distracted from their answers. Welcome to the programme. This is Fighting Talk. We're going to throw the sporting week into the washing machine, and we do not care if it shrinks or not. Introducing a very happy presenter and DJ. His Fulham are proving everybody wrong in the Premier League, and his Jacksonville Jaguars, well, I say he's a Jacksonville Jaguars glory hunter. He presents our weekly podcast here in the UK. Cannot believe that he doesn't have January off. Third biggest comeback in NFL postseason history last weekend, but his next podcast will be his last episode of the season for sure. They will not survive Arrowhead. Reece Parkinson, how are you?
Can I get a Duval? It's always the Jags.
You've got, first of all, I don't know where the accent came from. Second of all, you've got the freebie hat, because you can tell that's a freebie hat.
TV show, actually, not a podcast, by the way. Just saying.
Is it a TV show? I'm not watching an individual NFL teams. I don't care if it's a TV show, radio show, I don't care if it's I have to wear 3D glasses to see it, right? I don't care if it's the next edition of Avatar. I'm not watching it. It's about the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Well, we're about to prove you very wrong tonight.
Isn't it
Trust
funny?
me.
Because they've been like UK's team for so long, but it's always been like, please love us, love us, love us. And that's like, we love you now. Yeah, that's fine. Right, well, listen, good luck to you.
Thanks, mate.
And I know you're a native of Jacksonville. It means a lot to you. You've so much family there. Right, we got a newbie on the show, 5th debutant of season 20 and the first of 2023. I'm softening in my old age, allowing 10.33 of first-timers to win on debut. That ends today. She's a steeplechase record holder. Now, I'm not sure what the horse was called, but credit to both of them. Jo Ankier's here, how are you?
Hi, very well. A little nervous to be a first timer, but we'll give it a go.
But we warmed you up perfectly because we did the podcast extra before the show, and we had lovely chats about what it is to do the steeplechase, sort of running middle distances, quote unquote 3,000, sort of the betwixt and between. So that's really good insight to hear. Everything from now to then's piffle, but there you go. And Jo, you also love the boxing?
I do, yeah. I've got a pretty nice role at the moment with BT Sport, and a few great fights coming up with Tyson Fury and Tommy Fury, and next week Anthony Yard. So yeah, a lot of fun coming up this spring with the boxing.
Love it. Brilliant stuff. Thank you so much. Right, on for a 5th time. So far, he's reached Defend the Indefensible 3 times out of 4. He's won all 3. He is a 20-second wonder. He's also very good at Defend the Indefensible. It's the Big Issue editor, Paul McNamee. Hi, Paul.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm all right. You should look at this panel and just think, easy street, right? Debutants, people who've coming back for a second time, someone who really cares about the Jacksonville Jags, can't think of anything else.
Setting up for a fall, setting me up for a big fall. Yeah. Thank you for that, Colin.
Feels like that. Feels
it
like
really
that.
Does.
Yeah, we'll see if it's the FA Cup upset. Right, on for show 2, see what I mean? He came third on his debut in October. He nearly made the final, though, from nowhere, because he had one of the best AOBs of recent times when he told us about his Sunday League team speaking behind their hands. So the camera doesn't pick them up, even though it's obviously not on TV. So listen, let me just cover my mouth. I don't want to offend you. Reece, I don't fancy his chances. Josh James is here. Yeah.
How we doing? I don't fancy my chances either, to be honest.
Have you got, for somewhere in the show, I don't know where, another story about your Sunday League team? Because I would love that if you can come up with one.
Let me see if I can think of one between now and the end of the show.
That would be good. Right. Well, good news. It has to be said for Joe, because the first subject's all about boxing.
This is right up there for the simple reason I wouldn't want to lose some man with the arrogance of Chris Eubank Jr. regardless of losing.
I'm glad he's fired up. I want to go out there and stop this guy. He's got a big mouth and he's going to pay for the words he said.
Yeah, listen, that's the good bit we can play. It's been well covered, the stuff that we wouldn't. But in his BBC Online column, former fighter George Groves says Chris Eubank Jr. needs to blast away Liam Smith to retain star billing. It's on 5 Live tonight. We're going to hear that. It's from 8 o'clock. But in the meantime, who from sport would you like to blast away just for the sake of it? Reece, Patrick.
I'm going to the point. Him. I mean, what the worst... That was Liam Smith. That was the worst trash talk of all time. It kind of reminded me, you go back to primary school. It's like, really? We're going to go there? Of all the things to say. I mean, I get the tattoo hair. At some point in my life, I probably will too have tattooed hair, like Chris Eubank Jr. So I get that, but going there is like, like reach on homophobia. It's just very strange, weird almost.
They're very straightforward. There's loads of love to be found in the Smith brothers, who, you know, I've met the older ones, but he doesn't click, bless him, that what he said was homophobic. That's the bit. So I'm sure one of his brothers will take him aside and say, hey, let's talk you through why you can't say that, but maybe not 2 days before a fight, you know.
Weird,
hopefully it does sort of click. That's unacceptable. Right, Joe.
Yeah, well, I'm going to also stick with boxing for this one, but I'm going with Floyd Money Mayweather because I feel like he's taking everyone for a ride at the moment. He's fighting YouTubers. He fought Logan Paul. He fought Deji. Do you guys even know who Deji is? I know we're not teenagers here.
Of course I know who Deji is. How dare you? How dare you? Check my TikTok account. Right.
He's also asking for about $6 million per fight, and they're exhibitions. Yeah. No one can even win or lose. No one can get a knockout. Floyd Mayweather, he's taking everyone for a ride. I heard he's got 2 broken hands at the moment as well. So, yeah, he's doing jack all. He's asking for millions. I think he just announced a fight with a Muay Thai fighter at boxing, and then the Muay Thai fighter is injured anyway and has had to pull out. So, yeah, Floyd Money Mayweather, blast away.
See, I don't know whether you've misspoken there or you genuinely meant what you say, because Muay Thai is the mixed martial, I think it's a Thai form of kickboxing, right? Muay Thai. Mai Tai is a cocktail, but given that it's Floyd Mayweather, he may actually be fighting a cocktail waiter. So I think you might mean actually someone who works in a cocktail bar. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe works as in the Pyramid. Do you know what do you call that place? The Pyramid in Vegas as a cocktail waiter. That could be the Luxor. There you go, Paul.
I am going to blast away Roy Keane. Or, to be more specific, Roy Keane's moustache. Roy Keane went to the World Cup. He had grown the beard. He looked like a Jesuit priest who was just on the cusp of turning and renouncing his faith. He looked like an interesting man who was fighting something. And then he clearly got bored, spent too long in his hotel room with his clippers and came out looking like Father Stone from Father Ted and a bit like a CID officer from the 80s, which is not a good look for any man, especially Roy Keane. So Roy, for the good of the nation, we need to blast away the tash. Yeah. We've got to get rid of it.
It's not going to be a permanent thing, is it?
Well, he's kept it. He showed up again post-World Cup because it's the sort of thing, you know...
You're doing a holiday. Like I wore a sarong on a recent holiday.
Good for you, Colin. Good for you.
It was all hanging out, but I didn't come in here in it. I've got more respect for the UK, right?
Yeah, so, Roy, do your job. Do your job. Sort it out.
You got to get extra points for slating Roy Keane, right? Because even in fighting talk, that rarely happens. Josh...
Who would I like to blast away? I'd like to blast away Daniel Levy and Joe Lewis, the owners of Tottenham Hotspur. Obviously, my beloved Spurs. I think it's time to leave Tottenham, to be honest. Only Daniel Levy could turn Conte into a struggling manager. I mean, they've done a lot of good for the club, the stadium, the training pitch. But it's time to go, unfortunately. It looks like Kane's going to leave in the summer, most likely. And who can blame him, really? He's England's top goal scorer, soon to be Premier League's top goal scorer. And he's got nothing to show for it, is he?
I love the way you throw in the most state-of-the-art football stadium in the UK, which also kept a great dynamic of sound, by the way. That bank of fans is brilliant. As a real just kind of like, well, they might have done that, but Levy out. Get him out!
Yeah.
There's no one else to blame at Spurs but Levy. That's what I've learned over the last 10 years 100%. Or whatever it is. Right, let's go to question 2, submitted by listeners, of course. Caradag Davis is asking the question today. How was my pronunciation there, sir?
It was very good, actually. Very good, thank you.
Yeah, because some people would say Caradog, and that's wrong.
Mostly the English,
Caradag, yes. Yeah. And that's exactly how our production team said it when they were working out your theme tune. This is your theme tune. It's definitely the emphasis in the DOG. There's 2. So it's up to you which one you want, okay? You can have...
Okay.
Right, you can have the Stooges, right? I want to be your dog, right? Now, that's very cool and all. Or...
much is that dog in the window?
No,
the first one.
Really? You want the first one? All right, cool. There you go. Thank you very much. Your theme tune that you can have forever, that you can keep forever, that no one else in Fight and Talk can have, is How Much Is That Dog in the Window? What's your question, my friend?
Right, morning panel. The question, with Warren Gatland returning to coach Wales and Eddie Jones returning to Australia, when in sport has the second coming been greater than the first?
The second coming greater than the sport. Good question. Thank you very much for that. Let's go back to front this time. Josh?
I'm going to go for Tyson Fury. 100%. He's, obviously retired, put on a lot of weight, and then managed to come back and undoubtedly is the best heavyweight out there now. So
I'd put his comeback before that, right? Would you not, Joe?
I think we've still got to see what happens in the Undisputed before we can give his second coming being greater than his first, because he got 3 belts the first time around. Now he only has 1.
Yeah, but I think his second coming was the first time.
Oh, I see what
because of the amount of fights that were called off and the amount of injuries he had, is that he was written off. It was finished for him. I remember interviewing him when he couldn't get an interview. So I think his second coming
we're on the
was
third
actually
coming now.
when he first beat Klitschko was the second coming, because he went through so much before that in terms of injuries, etc., amount of fights he missed. I think it's his third time around. Good answer though, loads of points. Don't worry about that, sir. Paul?
Take that.
I'm going to go for Tiger Woods.
Yes.
Tiger Woods, although he won quite a lot, 14 majors by 2008, went through a lean spell, and then from 2013 there was injury after injury.
Yeah.
Arm injury, elbow, then back, multiple operations on his back.
Yeah.
And in 2019 he won the Masters again. And he himself said that winning the Masters was like climbing Everest. So despite everything else that he has won in the past, that one major victory counts as the greatest comeback in modern sport.
It's a great comeback. On the subject of being at that stage, getting through injuries, everyone's saying you can't do it. Andy Murray 2-1 down against Batista Agut, the Spanish number 24 seed. How he won the second set, I'll never know. First set, he could hardly walk. He's 2-1 down. It's 2-2 though. In the 4th set. Murray broke at the beginning of that set, but it's back to 2-2. He's hopefully about to go 3-2 up on his serve. He's 40-30. That's in 5 Live Sports Extra whenever you need it, and we'll keep you up to date here as well. Joe, we're looking at second comings being better than the first.
All right, so similar vibe here, but I do think the second coming was greater. I'll explain why. Michael Phelps.
Yeah.
Not just about the results. We know he got 28 Olympic medals, most decorated Olympian of all time, but what he overcame during his retirement after the 2012 Olympics, where he got 4 golds, 2 silvers. He was then arrested for driving under the influence and speeding, admitted substance abuse problems, went to rehab for 45 days, ballooned up in weight to 230 pounds. Some very interesting relationships. Too early in the morning to talk about them. Dominatrixes and people like that.
Never too early to talk about a dominatrix.
He said he was on the express elevator to the bottom floor, and then he made the comeback from the brink of no return. Back in the pool, he did better in Rio than he did in London. Greater. 5 golds, 1 silver, and became the most successful athlete of the Rio 2016 Games. I was there, I was poolside, and it was a wonderful moment.
From submitting to dominating yet again. Reece?
I'm going with I'm going with Phil Jackson.
Yes.
One of the greatest basketball coaches of all time. So
Yes.
he has the Lakers team in 99 to 2004. Incredible team. You got Shaq, you got Kobe. And then he returns to the Lakers again, second time in 2005, and leads the team to win another 2 NBA championships, which is incredible. And I would say that's arguably one of the best Lakers teams. Yeah. Pau Gasol, Lamar Odom, Kobe. So Phil Jackson for me. Better return.
Good. That's what happens when you have Americans on the show. They will do American sports, but that's to be expected. They grew up with it. Reece and Paul get 11 points each. Joe and Josh have 10 points each. So whoever you give the hallelujah to, Karadik, that's who's going to be in the lead.
I'm going to give it to Reece.
Oh,
yes.
yes.
It's actually about a coach coming back a second time.
There you go. Yeah, and it was Gatlin and Jones that you quoted there, which is very good indeed. Love that, mate. You have a very good day, and no need to thank me for how much is that doggy in the window. And I know it's a great thing to have. Thank you, mate. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
There you go. Next topic, all about the man who's playing right now in Sports Extra. Andy Murray.
From Kokonakis. Off forehand for Murray. Backhand, double-handed cross-court. The winner of the backhand side from Andy Murray. And comeback is complete. After nearly 6 hours on court, Andy Murray has gone from 2 sets down to defeat Tanasi Kokonakis.
Yeah, epic scenes, unbelievable scenes. Andy Murray battled for over 5 hours. You know the story. The match finished 4 a.m. After that, when have you pulled a sporting all-nighter? I'm guessing it's got absolutely nothing to do. Well, actually, Joe, yours might be. Do you know what I mean? Yours might be more of like a stayed up all night training, or something. I don't know.
We have to get our sleep when we're training like that.
Yeah, but okay. Well, let's see what your answer is. Maybe it'll be as bad as the rest of ours.
Yeah, it's about the boxing again. We often have to do all-nighters because these shows in Vegas are at like 5 a.m. So they tend to have me host the show over here in London and keep, or in England, and keep the fans engaged until midnight. And then we have a bit of a gathering and we're sort of expected to stick around until 5 a.m. with cocktail sausages and all sorts of junk food. Sometimes John Fury's been there with us, and he's not the kind of guy you want to be with at like 3, 4 in the morning when his son is fighting and he's stressed on the other side of the world. But I have to admit that the last time this happened, I snuck off to the green room for a bit of a sleep, and I managed to sleep through Tyson's fight, and I had to watch the highlights the next day anyway.
No. Can I, Joe, snacks in any situation, whether it be in the home or in a BT Sports studio, cocktail sausages wouldn't be my reference.
I know, I remember them visually.
Right.
So I'm
Who's
like,
bringing them in?
But who's making the...
We're in it. To the gunners,
but who goes...
Terrible snacks.
They're going to need snacks. We don't have much budget.
I know.
Like, I get...
It's what you can find in Stratford at
Monster
like 2
Munch.
a.m.
Right, but can you? Like, is there a cocktail sausage thing I don't know about? Is there a thing going on? I've never had I haven't had a cocktail sausage at 2 a.m. Have you, Reece?
Over Christmas. Always in the bowl.
It's a strange thing to quote as the snack that was made available. Do you know what I mean? Oh, we're just trying to eat not junk food, but got the hedgehog, cheese and pickle on the go. Anyway, Reece.
Yes, I am going back to 2001. I was 7 years old, so my all-nighter was when I was a young'un. And me and my brother, we would never be able to buy a pay-per-view for anything. My mum would never let me, but this time things changed. I'm going to one of the greatest sporting events of all time, one of the greatest sporting moments of all time, and that is WrestleMania 2001 at 1 a.m. Edge and Christian versus the Hardy Boys versus the Dudley Boys. Yeah. One of the best wrestling matches of all time. Legendary.
What else was in that? The Taker won.
Taker, Triple H.
Yeah.
Rock, Stone Cold.
Yeah.
What? I still got the DVD.
What?
The Rock.
What? I'm doing a Stone Cold. Josh.
I've had plenty of cocktail sausages at 2 a.m, by the way.
Yeah.
I think Mayweather and McGregor.
Yeah.
We went out for a big night out, me and my mates. And, there was probably about 10 of us and probably about 2 of us that stayed up watching the fight. And, it was an awful fight, wasn't it, really? And we got sold by McGregor. We thought that this guy stood a chance, but he didn't. Mayweather carried him for, I can't remember how many rounds it was, and then got him out of there. But that's probably the worst sporting all-nighter that I can remember.
Yeah, he did sell it, didn't he? He did sell. We'll give him credit for that. He did sell it. He had us all thinking. Paul, sporting all-nighter.
Mine is boxing related as well. There is something spectacularly good about listening to boxing commentary on the radio, especially late at night. And I have very good memories of particularly Prince Nassim, listening to a lot of his fights through the 90s and thinking, I am definitely staying up for this. In a very, very calm way, no booze involved. You don't need to have it, Josh. You just need to focus.
Well, I know that now.
You just need to focus, stay awake for the Prince, and you will enjoy the fighting.
Take points off Paul, as I knew him through that whole period, and he was never sober. He was literally, in his late teens, the worst drunk and the most aggressive drunk I ever knew. So all the points. You never ever watched a boxing match sober. Right, there's no way you ever watched a boxing match sober, right?
Okay, I'm not coming back on that.
I could just imagine him shadow boxing in his front room now, listening to the.
Oh dear! Listen, it's all very close. Josh has 14, Paul has 15, Joe has 16, Reece has 19. Hallelujah! Standing you in good stead as it stands. Right, quickie panel. Gary Lineker had that thing, didn't he? The sounds of moaning from a planted mobile phone in the Match of the Day Live studio this week. Like humour hasn't moved on from 1972, by the way. Maybe I just missed the joke. I don't know. Anyway, we had about 20 questions that we could do. Only one of them got past the BBC compliance officers, which is sport's greatest prank. Paul. Sport's greatest prank.
I think that UEFA, as a force for good in positivity in football, that has moved from prank to performance art now. But I hate pranksters and people who pull pranks. I just can't have them. I think, when there's an interview and they go, he's just the life and soul of the changing room. He's a bit of fun. He's
Cuts
the jester.
Socks off.
Yeah, that thing. I think no,
Totally.
absolutely not. Balotelli. All the stories about Balotelli having a bit of fun, cutting shoes up, urinating in people's shoes. Have a word with yourself.
Yeah.
That is not on. So any pranks. I am coming down very hard on pranks altogether.
Yeah, with you, Joe.
Ooh, the ultimate photo bomber, Carl Power. Do you remember him?
He should be in the pictures.
He appeared in everything. He got in everywhere. He got in where water couldn't. Full Manchester United kit in their team photo before the Champions League game against Bayern Munich 2001. He entered with a TV crew, apparently, to get that access. Then he got on court at Wimbledon before a Tim Henman game, and he had a knockabout. He went on with the England team. He went out to bat at Headingley. He got on the winners' podium at Silverstone at the Grand Prix in 2002. Just how this guy managed things was unbelievable. So the ultimate photo bomber, Carl Power.
Surely that's a sentence. Josh.
I just want to say I really agree with you, Paul, in terms of pranks. They're terrible, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Especially if you're on a stag do. It's just there's always one bloke, isn't there? There's always about the pranks. You just chill out, mate. But yeah, I think I'm going to go for Simon Brodkin. When I think he's got this character called Jason Bent, who's supposed to be like a Premier League footballer. He gate crashed Sepp Blatter's FIFA press conference.
Oh, he threw the money.
And he threw the money in the air. Absolutely nailed it. I think. Sepp Blatter. I believe the whole organisation at the time was just corrupt from top to bottom. Obviously, nothing ever.
I don't think the cleaner ladies at FIFA were corrupt.
No,
I think most of the guns, and rightfully so, were aimed at the upper echelons of the FIFA organisation. I feel like, as the BBC, I must say, the bottom. Yeah, Sally and David, who worked at reception at FIFA headquarters in Switzerland. Lovely people. Lovely people.
I apologise to any of the lower end
twist.
employees of FIFA.
Right, yes.
Okay, I'll take that back.
Thank
but
you.
Sepp Blatter, he never got in trouble for it, but I think he was complicit, wasn't he? So that for me is the best sport prank.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Reece?
But none of them got to play 45 minutes in the Prem.
Yeah.
One of the greatest men of all time, Ali Dyer.
Yeah.
This is incredible. It's one of those stories you go, surely that's not real, and it is. So this guy called Ali Dyer fools Graham Souness of all people.
It's technically a prank, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah, he pranked his way.
It's a con, which a prank is a con.
He was playing non-league, and then he's like, oh, actually, I played for Senegal like 2 days ago. I'd love to have a trial at Southampton. They get him on to do a trial. He passes the trial, gets put on the bench, and he comes on for 45 minutes in a Prem game. And then, obviously, they quickly realise he's terrible, and he goes back down to non-league. But yeah, was it Weir? Was it Where?
George Weir.
Yeah, George Weir was like, I'm his cousin. Yeah.
Brilliant answer.
Great answer.
Right, we 5-point lead at the moment, Reece. I'll keep you up to date on the tennis. It's live in 5 Live Sports section. We get an update coming away in a couple of minutes in the news and sports headlines. But it's the last part of the first half of Fight and Talk, which is just I kind of suppose at some stage we should just call it any other sporting business rather than try and make it out that it's something else. But it's that one bit of sport that we haven't talked about in the show that you think, well, you can't get away with not mentioning it. Only one sports person in this panel. Joe, what have you got for us? What's the little thing you would like to talk about?
right.
There's no steeplechase questions in here, which is disrespectful as far as I'm
Well,
concerned.
I was going to talk about, as a reporter, that I believe that referees and judges should get interviewed post-match, post-fight. Yeah, I just think, VAR's causing so many problems. We're all craving human opinion again. We've seen also in the boxing fights where half of the audience, more than half of the audience, think one person won and the referee or the judges have, decided another one. And if us as the reporter could just give, 2-3 questions to the referee or the judge of our choice, get them to explain why they gave a certain boxer a certain round or why they gave a red card, because everything's looking different from a different angle.
I like the idea of after a controversial boxing match, you're interviewing the judge and the briefcase opens and the money falls onto the ground, I'd love to know if the referee would lose it irrationally in the same way as a manager does 10 minutes after the final whistle. If you can get that interview in the 10 minutes, that's where they get fined, right? That's when the manager goes, you'd never get a penalty at Anfield. They never, you know what I mean? And then the Premier League are like, there you go, you owe us 10 grand.
Great TV.
I wonder would referees do that as well. See that Klopp, he should never be allowed to manage again. And then they have to apologise the next day.
They should mic them up like they mic them up on the side of the football.
Oh my goodness me! Well, we get it in rugby. It's the reffing of the mic is fantastic. Right, Josh.
Bit of a left field one here, but if you go on social media a lot at the moment, you see a lot of people going skiing, and
such a left field thing, isn't it?
I just don't get skiing, to be honest.
Me either, mate.
I mean, holidays, for me, they're supposed to be hot. I don't know why you spend your money going somewhere cold.
Right.
If I want to go somewhere cold where everyone's drunk, I'll stay in London, basically.
The après ski, is that what they call it? I don't ski. Does anyone here ski?
I ski.
I've never been skiing.
It's all about the après ski.
So, but is it not still, is it Baltic?
Yeah, but
Well, why don't you just go and stand outside a bar in the winter in the UK? I don't get that either.
You get to wear
It's better
clothes,
drinking in the cold.
Fun furry Russian hats and fun fur. It's fun.
Right. If I go on holiday, I don't want to see people where I can only see their eyes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm looking bikinis and budgie smugglers. I'm with you.
I'm saving my money.
Yes.
I want to go Spain.
Preach. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Who's still to go? Paul.
The Tunnel Ultra. The Tunnel Ultra. We should be talking about the Tunnel Ultra. Is a 200-mile endurance race on a 1 mile stretch of tunnel just outside Bath in the dark. The runners, when they compete at this, they're not allowed any music. They're not allowed any support team.
Music.
If you're listening to music while you're running,
yeah.
Then they're not allowed any support team. They got to finish it within 55 hours, and it's 1 mile and then another mile, 1 mile then another mile. There was these people called the Stylites who went and set up poles, pillars in Syria about 1500 years ago because it was all about mortification of the flesh, and they went nuts. I want to have those people after the Tunnel Ultra interviewed to see if they've touched the face of God.
That's amazing.
Because that is, can you imagine what your mind is doing going through that?
They should pipe like horror movie sound effects in as well for the whole time. Do you know what I mean?
Apparently one runner went blind when he was doing it because of such sensory deprivation, and then thanked the organisers for allowing him to go through that. Only 13 people have ever finished it. That is an incredible thing.
That's unbelievable.
It's a bit similar to what that old boy that was doing in his garden. Do you remember during the pandemic raising money for the NHS? What's his name?
Who was
Tom Moore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that. A little bit.
Yeah, it's really like that.
Exactly like that.
Exactly like that.
The same image we all
Except he could see. It was
had
daylight.
in our head. Yeah. What's Reece?
Has anyone been cancelled on this show before? I think that might have been the
Several.
first there.
Several.
Okay. Bob Mills is not the only one that's mentioned this.
Yeah.
We've seen darts have its moment.
Yeah.
And it seems to be taking off incredibly, getting really big. I think bowls. If you add beer to bowls, add more stands, let more people in, I think it could be huge.
Couldn't get tickets. Couldn't get it. It's sold out 5 years in advance. You would have to buy it now and then change the way it is like 5 years. It's not popular.
Create a new league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm against that.
Saudis
I'm against that. It's like it's watched more by a mature audience, and I'm sick of young disposable income 22-year-olds ruining sport. So I'm up for it staying exactly where it is. Do you know what I mean? That's what I say. I'm sick of it. Sit down, you get your 3 meals paid for. We don't need anyone with beer tokens as far as I'm concerned.
7 years ago, I was filming at East London Mosque when the story broke that 3 schoolgirls from the area had gone missing. They were heading to Syria to join the Islamic State group.
Breaking news this morning, 3 British schoolgirls are reportedly missing.
Shamima Begum was the only one of the girls to emerge from the ashes of the so-called caliphate. I've retraced her steps from the UK through Turkey and into Syria to find people who knew her and to investigate the truth of her story.
What do you think people think of you?
As a danger, as a risk, as a potential risk.
The Shamima Begum story, Series 2 of I'm Not a Monster.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Welcome back to Fight and Talk on BBC Radio 5 Live. Over in Sports Extra right now, Bautista Agut is serving for the match against Andy Murray. He is love 15 up, so this is like you're not sure with Andy Murray at this Aussie Open. Are you watching real sport? Or are them just making a Netflix series in real time? It's now, I think, Love 30, so that's not over yet. It's unbelievable. Let's get back to Fight and Talk, because I'm pretty sure we're going to have to give about 5 minutes over to the tennis in the next 15, I would imagine. So, game changer, 5 points for one of you, none for the rest of you. If Reece gets this, he will be in Defend the Indefensible. If he doesn't, he won't even be in the lead. So here we go. It's inspired by something that Kate Mason said on Fighting Talk last week. And she was talking about sport that is actually better watched as highlights. So that's the question for you. Sports that are actually better as highlights. I mean, come on. That was amazing, Andy Murray, in the last round. But people are saying, are you going to stay up? It wasn't a matter of staying up. It was a matter of getting up for it. It was ridiculous. When did tennis get so long? Sort it out. Might have to be one set from now on. Just do it one set. Josh, what have you got for me?
I've gone for MMA. I mean, albeit I'm not sort of very, I'm not a trained person when it comes to jiu-jitsu.
So many things we could have written.
I mean,
we
so
could add
many
in that sentence.
I'm not
Muscly. Do you know
I'm
what I
not
mean?
trained when it comes to anything, basically, especially radio.
Scottish. Not very Scottish.
But yeah, for me, I love MMA. Watching the highlights, watching the knockout reel, stuff like that. In between, it's a lot of wrestling, and to the untrained eye, it just looks like 2 guys rolling around on the floor, really. So for me, it's got to be MMA's best as highlights.
You just watch the highlights, you know what's going on.
Yeah.
Joe, what about you?
So I'm going to proverbially shoot myself in the foot and go for my own sport. Distance running.
No. How long? What do you mean? Minimum?
No, I'm going for distance. So I mean,
like marathon?
Yeah, so first off, the marathon. Beautiful
I'm with you
courses.
Who wants to watch mile 5 to 10 of a marathon?
So we just, watch the first couple of miles, the last couple of miles, especially of the elite race. It's all good seeing the ones dressed up in the fun, and then the 10,000 metres on the track.
Oh, I'm not sure about that.
33.5 laps. I mean...
What are you not watching? Give me laps. So 4 to...
I think you just need to watch the final kilometre, because everyone's in a pack until then. And I have to say, even if it was my own 10,000 metres, I wouldn't blame my parents if they just watched the highlights.
Yeah. Sorry, I've just been giving everyone points, and I realised I don't do that, so stop now. Yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. I don't know what you mean, especially for the professional runners. I would never watch a fun runner. I'll
for the costumes.
I'll donate. And well done. But why would I watch a non-professional runner run a marathon if I wasn't related to them and being forced to go and watch it? I don't get that.
There could be some comedy there.
You can donate and all that, but why would I want to watch somebody who's unremarkable at run? Anyway, it's no, it's not match point at the moment. It is match point now. It's just gone there. Right, Russell, here we go. Can Andy Murray pull another one out of the bag? Can he keep this going? He needs to win this point.
Can he keep it going from 2-1, 5-4, 40-30 match point down to Roberto Bautista Agut. The Spaniard is serving. He has missed the first serve. He was the man we thought who had ended Andy Murray's career here in Melbourne 4 years ago, but Murray had other ideas. A metal hip later, he's back on the scene. Backhand return into the net from Murray. Roberto Bautista Agut ends Murray's wonderful Melbourne adventure, which lasted for 14 hours and 3 minutes over 3 rounds. Full of entertainment, full of sweat, and often of tears for his opponents, having beaten Matteo Berrettini in a 5th set tiebreak. Thanasi Kokkinakis from 2 sets down at 5 minutes past 4 in the morning, but he wasn't able to get past Roberto Bautista Agut in the 3rd round. The Spaniard wins in 4 sets, but what a start to the season for Andy Murray. And once he's spent a week in an ice bath, we wonder what sort of damage he can do later in the year.
Brilliant, thank you so much. The great shout, the vamos shout as he's won. I hope I didn't offend anyone. You know the shout, the Spanish shout, vamos, as he won. It was brilliant. He had the same scream as Andy Murray had in the last round, because he wasn't just playing Andy Murray there. He's very much playing the crowd. You know, that was such a Cinderella story was happening. The crowd was so behind Andy Murray. So he did brilliant to not just beat Andy there, but sort of win against the crowd as well. Wonderful stuff. There you go. What a run by Andy, but congratulations to a Spanish player. Must fancy his chances now with players who've been knocked out. Right, let's get back to a game changer. He hasn't went. Paul and Reece. Paul,
I think...
Remember the question?
Yes.
What was it?
Which sport...
Yeah, I wasn't asking so Uni, I was asking so I could know. What was it? Highlights?
Highlights,
Sport
yeah.
and highlights. Thank you, Joe. On her debut, by the way. Keeping the show together. What have you got?
All of them. Every single sport would be better in a highlights package, except one.
100 metres?
No, snooker. Snooker is, because it is everything the same but slight differences. It is like...
There's no highlights.
No highlights. Watch it all the way through. It is a Beckett-esque run through the futility of being. Everything just changes a tiny bit. That you have to see and you have to live it. And you have, because it is by chance or by gravity or by some force beyond you. You're not playing somebody else.
Even when
You're
it's
playing
awful.
your mind.
Even when it's awful.
Watch it.
Snooker highlights are terrible.
Watch it in full.
Yeah. We
Only
join this
snooker.
frame. You know, it doesn't work. O'Sullivan took the next 2 frames and we join it now with Higgins. Doesn't work. But
Couldn't agree
100 metres is not better in highlights, so... You know,
can you imagine it though?
Paul,
2 seconds.
There was this crossover right now. The John Rowling. We're joining the 100 metres, and it's over. Reece. Sport and highlights.
I mean,
might be the only question we have time for in this part.
Yeah, half the crowd is empty. I don't understand why you go all the way to Toronto, spend money at hotels, spend money on the tickets,
really doing baseball here.
Especially during the playoffs. Spend money on the flight as well, and I know you go first class, which costs even more.
Never do.
Baseball. I've gone to the London games before. It's 5 hours. And I spend more time thinking of what I want to eat at one of the snack bars outside than the actual game. And it could end 1-0.
Cocktail sausages.
Yeah, cocktail sausages.
Yeah, well done for picking baseball and that, but you did have a cushion, so don't worry about that. Do you know what? I genuinely can't remember Joe's answer, but I know it was really good because it was before all that. So I'll give them to Joe. The debutante gets the 5 points. However, don't get too excited because you were in 4th place. That just pulls you into 2nd place. So just don't count those chickens, right? This is the bit you probably wouldn't watch. Do you know what I mean? This is laps 4 to 20. So let's see what happens. Right, let's do tennis. Emma Raducanu fell in the first week of another Grand Slam. But the young, talented tennis star can always seek solace in her outstandingly large bank balance. Her career earnings before the age of 20, 10 million quid. And by the way, good on her every step of the way. But panel, if you were a tennis player, which one would you like to be? Who do you want to be as a tennis player? Josh?
Boris Becker for me.
You'd right now, right? Okay,
now.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yes, I would. I mean, obviously, look, it's been a bit.
He's getting deported.
Listen, he's getting deported. Yeah, well, he's getting a free holiday, isn't he? But listen, hear me out on this one.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't agree with what he's done. He's been a very bad boy, but he recently spent 8 months in prison, and I just think, I could do with a little bit of a break, to be honest, a little bit of a time out. I'm missing the lockdown. So for me,
Boris,
it's got to be old
you
Boris.
went Boris. It's fight and talk, so a lot of points. Paul, who would you like to be?
I can only be Paul McNamee, the tennis player.
Oh, yes! That's brilliant.
Paul McNamee, the tennis player, blighted my youth. Every time there was tennis on, because he was okay but not great, people would go, "Hey, where's Peter McNamara?" And I go, "That's not funny. That's not funny. I've heard it a million times." Now. Yes, you laugh now. And because of a weird mix-up online, sorted out by Andrew Castle, Paul McNamee, the tennis player, was caught in a conversation about politics when it was supposed to be me on Twitter. Andrew Castle then said, hold on, that's another Paul McNamee. And now Paul McNamee, the tennis player, and I chat to each other all the time on Twitter. We do.
I love that. So was he thought someone was challenging him on politics, didn't even think it could be a different Paul McNamee, and entered into that debate?
Yes. No, Andrew Castle was the adjudicator of it. For some reason, he saw it. He saw what was happening and said, you've got the wrong Paul McNamee. It's this fella you want. And subsequently, we are now better pals.
Have you ever commented on Djokovic's hamstrings or anything like that and just thought, I'll just go with this? The person doesn't know. Have you ever replied and said, I don't think it's a second serve issue. I think it's the slice.
No, I'm definitely going to do that. Given I know really, really little about tennis, it could really destroy Paul McNamee's reputation.
I love that. So we have Josh is going to be Boris Becker. Paul McNamee's going to be Paul McNamee. Joe, who are you going to be?
I'm going with Coco Gauff. By the way, I looked at Boris. I thought about Boris, but he's just got out of prison, so that breaks over. Coco Gauff, she's 18, and who wouldn't want to be 18 again? She's worth $5.5 million or so, and that's not bad for a teenager. I think she's about to win her first major. I'm definitely rooting for her at this point. And also, she's a massive star on TikTok. She does all these dances. She's bringing her mum and dad into the dances. She's got original moves that have gone viral. I just think she's having a lot of fun right now, and it would be great to be Coco.
I wouldn't want the TikTok part of it. But,
it's also a great name, Coco.
Because I'm already, as you don't know, Joe, we're only meeting for the first time, a massive TikTok star in my own right. But I think if you were to pick a player to say, I just want to enjoy a whole career again, you might have just backed the mother load there. I think that's a great shout.
Also, she's just been training with Mike Tyson.
Well, and maybe not. Reece.
I'm taking it quite literal as well. I'm going with Joe Wilfried Songa.
Yes.
Retired, so I wouldn't actually have to show my skills.
Right.
You're French, so I mean, beautiful country to live in, right? And I mean, how much money he's earned in his career as well. I mean, great retirement, and he had the best celebration, in my opinion, of all time.
Yeah.
His celebration after winning the tennis game was just awesome.
Very good. Right, let's do the scores because they're so close as it stands at the moment. Josh has 31. Paul has 32. Joe on her debut has 33, as does Reece. So, but that's really interesting because that's how strong you two have been. We have the two anarchic rounds, right? One that someone gets 5 points, one that someone gets 3 points. You've picked up the bonus points, which sees you two in real terms having the highest score in third and last place, which I love. So let's do our Mock the Week tribute. We will continue to do it. So if this is the answer, what is the question? Okay, so I don't have polls here actually as it stands at the moment. Okay, let's come back to that. Reece, can't believe they're sixth.
Yeah, what did Fabio Carvalho say to his agent when they spoke about Fulham?
Sorry. Joe, you actually got it right, by the way. That is the answer. That's not the point of it. So I'm going to take all those points off. You're not making the final. I was right. I was thinking it's not factual. Right, Paul, he's fame hungry.
What is it with James Milner?
Right, Josh. £6 billion.
£6 billion. The money Conor Benner spent trying to prove his innocence.
Oh.
And Joe, 31.
The number of years it'll take Tottenham to see a return on their investment for their record signing and yet to score a league goal, Richarlison.
Listen, Reece can tell you what that is, Mr. Jags. So, you want to tell her why 31? What was the question there?
The Jags scored last week.
Yeah, and our producer told you in your ear, I could see him press the button. He saved your blushes. He saved your blushes. Absolute shambles. If you're currently watching that, whatever it is that he presents about the Jags, the TV show, I think you need to unsubscribe. He didn't know. Right. Right, listen, Jesse Marsh, the Leeds manager's on LinkedIn. You never know when you're going to need another job. His About section currently reads head coach at Leeds United. So pen some more interesting LinkedIn profiles for sports people. What do you got for me, Joe?
I'm going for Usain Bolt because I don't know if you heard the news this week, but he's looking for a job. He got $10 million stolen from his account. Did you hear this? His whole retirement fund.
No.
Yeah, so Usain Bolt, job hunting. I am the fastest man on the planet. I pride myself in being able to think quickly on my feet. I've recently undergone a fast track course in stocks and securities. That's what got stolen. Specialising in the area of missing funds. I work well individually and as part of a team. Fantastic with startups. I promise to get your business up and running.
Does the bank have to give him it back, or is that all up in the air?
They're
at the
apparently
moment?
really worried that they won't get the money back, and it's his whole retirement fund. It's really sad.
Wow, that's crazy. It's a shame because it's cybercrime, isn't it? It's cybercrime where they do it from anywhere in the world. Where if it was back in the old days, he'd obviously have caught them. Do you know what I mean? So, there you go. It's the modern world. Josh?
So I took this one quite literally, actually, and see if you can guess who this is. And this is a real LinkedIn profile, by the way.
Right.
I am passionate about Razor Ruddock Racing, as it provides corporate clients with the opportunity to entertain their staff and customers.
Would that be Razor Ruddock by any chance?
I mean, it would, and it just leaves me with a lot of questions. What on earth is Razor Ruddock Racing? Was he into car racing now? I mean, who's taking their clients to that anyway?
Not sure.
Very, very bizarre.
Paul, what have you got for the LinkedIn profile?
Darren Ferguson.
Yeah.
Manchester United, Wolves, Peterborough, not Peterborough, Peterborough, not Peterborough, Peterborough, not Peterborough, Peterborough.
Sensational. Reece?
Alarm emoji, capital letters, personal news, alarm emoji. I'm back. I'm looking as good as ever, and I'll be at the Flamingo on Saturday nights, the pier for my walks on Sunday morning. I'm in Blackpool. Your city is back. Mick McCarthy.
There you go. Nice. Love that. Love that. Right. All up for grabs as it stands at the moment. The difference between first and last place is 1 point. So there you go. And it's our one-line round. Any more than a line here? No points scored, right? It's International One-Liner Day. Give us your best one-liner, and I'll give you a bonus points if it's sporty. Reece.
What do you call a mass gathering of Millwall fans?
Don't know.
Prison.
Oh, no. Really? Really? No, not having it. Joe, disassociating himself from that. He is a Fulham fan, though, right?
Why did the marathon runner end up in jail? For resisting arrest.
Oh, there you go. Do you know what? I would have preferred it to be more offensive. Paul.
Went to the doctor, said I feel really bad. Doctor had a look at me, said I've got terrible news, you get 3 minutes to live. I said, oh no, is there nothing you can do? He said, I'll boil you an egg.
That's dreadful, but better than Reece and Joe.
That's a great joke.
It's not. Josh.
Reece is a brave man, by the way.
Yeah.
Apparently West Ham are about to sign 3 strikers, a postman, a nurse and a rail worker.
Choice egg, let's go. Do it again.
Apparently jokes are never as good if you got to repeat them, are
Do
they?
it again.
He's killed me there, hasn't he? Apparently West Ham are about to sign 3 strikers.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, do you know what? It's such a low standard that might be the best one of the round. By the way, what do you call a building full of Fulham fans? The banking crash. You'll get it right back at you. Don't worry about that. Right. I've got your back, Millwall. Don't worry about that. Let him come. Let him come. Right. It's any other business. It's all on AOB. Paul and Josh have a point lead over Reece and Joe. What a seesaw battle it has been. Right, Reece, what's your any other business? You all get about 45 seconds each, max.
Okay, I had to go for a blood test yesterday, just a checkup, and they also gave me a little pot to do a urine testing as well to do tests. Has anyone figured out how to do the correct method for a urine test? Because the little cup that they give you, how do you aim it? How do you stop it at a specific level? How do you not get it over your
Try
hands?
being a woman.
Surely you'd know
It's
by
even
now.
harder.
Yeah,
exactly. How do you stop?
I just want to say, I was given a huge cup. I was given a huge cup. Whereabouts roughly was the place you went for the blood test?
This is Southfields.
Yeah, that's where I went. So it was the same cup. That's the thing. It was the same cup. Joe.
So what I want to talk about, something I was reading this week, the chairwoman of the Food and Standards Agency, who went to Oxford University, by the way. So she's come out saying that bringing cake into the office is as harmful as passive smoking. Yeah. So I tried to understand what she meant by this, because when you look at the packets of cigarettes and you see all those awful pictures.
Yeah, like if you smoke, I could breathe it in.
Yeah, like throat cancer, harm pregnancies, all these horrible things. And the poor passive smoker standing by, subjected to all this. How is bringing cake into the workplace possibly comparable to that? Like, do we absorb
I can't breathe in your crumbs.
Exactly.
Right.
Does it?
Do you know what I mean?
Will the cake harm our lungs? I don't get it. So
You don't go home stinking of bison.
yeah. So this university, this Oxford professor, she's acknowledged that the two things are not identical, but she's just continuing to argue.
I like it. Joe, that was about 6 minutes. Okay, Joe, you need to stop talking now. I said 45 seconds. You can have your cake and eat it. Come on, Paul.
Clinton Morrison.
Oh.
Clinton Morrison, I think, is the most positive man in broadcasting.
That's going to get someone in a final, by the way.
Clinton Morrison.
That's going to get someone in a final.
Every time he is co-commentator, everything is 100%, 100%.
Yeah.
And then he always says, to be fair, even when it's nowhere near fair. Yeah. I love Clinton Morrison. Yeah. I find myself in any moment just saying, to be fair.
He's great.
I'm going to move the car, to be fair.
He's that nice in real life. He's that nice in real life. The only problem I have with Clinton is sometimes he'll text you something, and if you don't text him back within 12 hours, he sends you a follow-up text saying, I thought we were mates. That's the only thing. He's got this weird thing, if you don't text him back, he accuses you of betraying him. But apart from that, he is. There'll be loads of people know Clinton going, you're absolutely right about that. But well said, he is. They only scored 20% of their chances, 100%. Josh?
There's a common thing at the moment for young ladies saying, using this term, the ick. You might have heard it. It basically where it means when they're dating a guy and the guy does something really small to cringe them out, and they go from really liking them to overnight hating their guts. And it's always for some really immature girls, like, whatever, I got a lava lamp in my bedroom, get over it. Do you know what I mean? So what, you got a problem with the Star Wars poster as well? I'm 32, yes, but I pay PlayStation on an inflatable armchair. Get over it.
Right, final scores at the moment. Unbelievable scenes here. Reece and Joe have 43 points each. An amazing score to not make the final. An amazing score in your debut. Josh has 44 and Paul has 45. The AOB spoke for themselves. Right. Okay. It is 20 seconds to defend the indefensible. Whatever it is, you have to defend it. Most debutants hate making the final.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm really happy.
Right, but Joe just give me the look of a sports person. You know, like, I am going to kill you when we get outside the studio. You can definitely come back. Right, 20 seconds to defend the indefensible. Josh, this is for you. Watching Andy Murray this week confirms what I, Josh, always thought. Bit lazy.
A bit lazy. Andy Murray he's completely lazy. Of course he is. I think he's going to retire soon, isn't he? You know, I mean, what sort of career is that? How old is he? Like mid-30s. A lot of us are working till we're at least 60. I mean, I don't know what he's going to do after, but I mean, I don't even watch tennis, so I've got no chance in this one.
You got one line away, which is just basically repeating what I said, which is good. Paul, after the success of the Ronaldo re-signing, Paul, want to see United go back after Eric Cantona in this transfer window.
I always want to see Eric Cantona back at Manchester United. There is no game of football that would not be made better if the king was in the middle of it, putting his collar up. He could be 60, he could be 80, being pushed around in a wheelchair, and I want Eric Cantona back. So get him back now, Eric, in this window. We need the king.
And the win goes to Josh. You have to fill your time. If you do not fill your time, that was literally what's that team, that amateur team? Shenfield?
AFC Shenfield.
Your AOB was Shenfield. His was Manchester City. But he stopped playing after 80 minutes. You have to play to the fight. It's the golden rule. And it's only your 6th appearance, and fifth, 6th appearance. So you've just learned you have to fill the sweat. It's the ultimate rule of fighting, Tom. So, Josh, you get the win, even though everybody listening knows you didn't deserve it. Thank you, Reece. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Josh. And here's Chopper. Sorry, we're a bit late. We're a few seconds late.
Just more anti-Manchester United bias on Fighting Talk, as far as I can see.
There you go. It really wasn't.
It was.
Would you feel more at home if I played some rude noises in over your intro? Would that help?
No, I agree. I was listening earlier. I agree with you on
Do you agree
pranking.
with me?
Yeah.
Right. I didn't find it funny. That humour was like for the days of the VHS.
But if 5 Live listeners were going against 2 presenters who were not the greatest pranksters, I think you and me would be very high up that list.
You're upset. Rachel and Rick found it hilarious.
And also for Paul, as he was talking earlier about how much he likes positive pundits and the positive punditry of Clinton Morrison, I'm just going down my list this afternoon.
Who have you got?
Just negativity wherever I look. Stephen Warnock, Michael Brown, James Collin. No,
do you know what's so funny?
Just miserable.
You just pulled out the to be fair, the Clinton Morrison to be fair, which he says all the time. I've said to Clinton, it's the only thing. You could maybe say it 73 times less. But everyone has one, and you've just run through that list, and I could give you the to be fair for every one of those pundits, and you could as well, chappers, but you can't, because then the audience will never be able to unhear it. We all have the foible, the one thing that we say all the time.
Apparently I say remarkable all the time.
Yes.
What's your foible?
Oh, I always say to every caller on my weeknight show, at the end of every interview, I always say, thanks for being here, I appreciate it. And I get the message said, stop telling every person you appreciate them, but I can't help it. It's just, I just lapse into that.
Well,
and love it is another one. Love it.
At the end of that handover, we've put away all our pundits, Clinton Morrison and Rick and Rachel, part of the 5 Live family, myself and Colin. I love it. What a remarkable handover. 2 minutes past 12, 5 Live Sport on the way.
It's the